You hire one person in another state. Sounds simple? Then the letters show up. No love letters, government letters. Today I'm going to explain in plain English what do you actually need to do when you have employees in more than one state. No fancy words, no drama, just the checklist. So if you're a California business, this matters even more because California doesn't play defense. Here's the most issue that I've seen with California owners. They don't realize that when someone is working in a state, that state sees your business as an active business there, even if your company is formed somewhere else. So the state says, cool, if you are paying wages here, we want you in our system. And once you're in the system expects forms on a schedule forever. And it's not personal, it's what the system expects. Hey, you don't file reports, that's the trap. You keep getting letters from the system. So owners think it's just one remote employee, we'll deal with that later. And later becomes 2 years. Then you're cleaning up filings plus penalties. And that's the worst part, is that you were probably doing the right thing. You're paying the employees, you're running payroll, you're paying the payroll taxes, but the setup was missing one or two registration. So the paperwork didn't match what the state expected. So here's the rule of thumb. If a person is physically working in one state out of your home state, assuming that you have obligation in that state, even if it's temporary, even if they are your first hire or if they work part-time, one employee can be enough to trigger registration and filing in that state. So what those surprise letters usually are. Here are the common ones that we've seen over the years. Letter type 1, file your quarterly payroll report. You think, but we didn't have payroll in that quarter. Well, the state thinks you're active, file the payroll report even if it's zero. Another type, open issues with unemployment. That's usually because the state doesn't see the matching quarterly report. Letter type 3, workers' comp, audits questions. That's often because the employee location or job types doesn't match what's on file. Letter type 4, you owe penalties. That the system doing what's supposed to be doing when filing or missings. Again, boring, but very real and important. So here's a quick life example. Let's say you're based in California. You hire a project manager who lives in Arizona and you run payroll like normal. 6 months later, you get a letter from Arizona says, hey, you're missing a quarterly filing. And you swear you paid the person. You did, but here's what happened. Payroll ran, but the Arizona Department of Taxes, your account wasn't set up correctly. So the state didn't receive the report it's expected. Now you're doing a cleanup work. And this is how and why I'm obsessed with doing it right at the start. It's cheaper, it's cleaner, it's less headache, and it keeps your brain calm. So the 7-step checklist. Step number 1. List every state where people actually work, not where your company is based, where humans are doing the work. Step number 2, make sure you're allowed to operate there. Some states want you to register your company there to do business. There is a distinct between business license from a DBA. So you make sure you distinguish between these two different things. Step number 3, set up payroll with that state. Usually, this means registering with the state, your tax withholding, unemployment. So if you use payroll software, don't assume that they did it right. You need to confirm. Step number 4, workers' comp. Make sure your policy covers that state. People get burned here. You might have coverage in your home state, but not where the employees actually work. Step number 5, know that the reports you have to file even when the payroll is zero. Some agencies still expect a quarterly report even if you have no wages in that quarter. And if you skip filing, they think that you skip paying. Step number 6, clean up employee setup. Make sure you get the correct home address, work location, and start date. Don't guess that state. Don't use the home office of your company if they don't work there. Step number 7, put it all in a calendar. This is a boring, recurring deadlines. I understand, but the easiest way not to mess it up is to do it right. Do it once and never build that habit. The easiest workflow for owners is to get it right from the start. So if you want this to be simple, do this. First, pick one person in your team who owns the process. Even if payroll is outsourced, one person needs to watch that dashboard and notices. Second, use one payroll system. Don't run payroll in one place and track states in a spreadsheet or another. That's how things get messed up. Third, do a 10 minutes quarterly review. Ask yourself 3 questions. Which states are we paying people in? Are state payroll accounts active and correct? Do we file everything that quarter, even if boring 0 reports are filed? This is a tiny habit that can prevent huge headache penalty in the future. Here's a list of common mistakes that I've seen and we've seen as a team over the years. We'll fix it later. Later becomes 2 years. Paying someone as a contractor when they behave like an employee. You know, if you're California here, we have an AB5, which require you to go over a due diligence and a bunch of questions to make sure that you categorize your workers correctly, whether they're employee or subcontractors. Assuming payroll software handles everything, payroll software can run paychecks. It cannot magically fix compliance issues. If the setup is wrong, then the reports and the payroll wouldn't run correctly. Ignoring no payroll letters. If the agency expects a report and you don't file it, the system flags you. Even if you truly had no payroll that quarter, you still have sometimes, in some cases, to file a no activity report and send it in. Mixing up 3 different things. We've seen that all the time. Registering the company, getting local licenses, and filing a DBA. Those 3 things are not the same. Don't mix them up. So what to do if you already have a letter or receive a letter from the state? Don't panic, because most of the time this is fixable. You want to do this in order. You need to confirm the state account number and log in. Don't want to guess. Check what quarter they are asking for. You want to file the missing report even if it's 0. If the business is no longer active in that state, close the account properly and save the proof of filing. Now, if you're getting multiple letters across multiple states, you need to stop and clean up the system. Otherwise, you will keep replaying the same movie over and over again. Multi-state employees are not scary. They're just easy to mess up if you wing it. I hope that was helpful. I want to thank you so much for spending time to watch this, and I'll see you in the next one.
This has been another episode of our tax-saving video series. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe below, and share with other business owners. You can find previous episodes and more information at www.bostacpa.com. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.